Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Pattern Breakers session. I'm just gonna. Shall I start with a question? I'm gonna start with a question. So, what is one thing that instantly makes you feel on edge or overwhelmed? What is one thing that instantly gets you to the point? Tell me, let me know, all right? While you're thinking, let me put my phone on silent. Right, so um again, I can't always see comments. I don't know who's on. So if you're here live, let me know. Say hi live. Obviously, you can't say live. So use the comments, right? And if you're on the replay, hashtag replay, let me know that you're here. Let me know your concerns, your questions, like your takeaways, your aha moments. Like, let's get involved in the comments section. This is why I'm here. Let's back and forth on this a little bit, right? So today we're talking about the power of identifying your triggers, right? Let me start with hi. I'm Nicole, your motherhood mentor. Yes, a bit of a mouthful, the mama. I'm also a prayer strategist, okay? And so I help, I support, I come alongside Christian mummies. I help women, mummies specifically at the moment, like you, break free from the emotional cycles, the negative, what we call generational cycles and negative patterns. I help them regulate their emotions. I help you walk in God's peace. This is what I do. And I help you do this all while you're raising the next generation in his truth. Yes, it's what I do. Right, so a lot of the time, I'm seeing a lot of this stuff around, talk about emotional regulation, regulate. Like, this is more than just emotional regulation. This is about breaking those generational cycles of anger, frustration, overwhelm, all of the things that we see, that we experienced ourselves as children, and that we are seeing us do, that we're trying not to do, but we're seeing us do to our children, right? As we become parents now, we become mums now, we're starting to do the same thing. Sometimes, you know what I'm talking about. You open your mouth and you heard your mum come out. Shocking, right? Because you said, I'm never going to do this to my child. But there she was. There was your mum jumping right out of your mouth. You're just like, where is she? She's not even here. How did that happen? Right. So it's not about emotional regulation, just emotional regulation. It's about breaking those cycles. It's about aligning your parenting with God's word. It's about being able to step fully and completely into the legacy that he has for you. Okay. And I help to facilitate that. I just help to facilitate that with lots of different things. I have a Facebook group that I'm helping mummies to facilitate that with, the transformation. I also have lots of different hands that you could say that I'm involved in, that people can get involved in. Lots of different ways, pathways that we can work together. But I have a signature framework that I use, and for the next few weeks, lucky for you, or so not lucky, blessed for you, we're going to be going through the framework. Okay, so we're going to be going through my Tranquil framework, and this is today you're in for a treat because we're doing the first step. Okay, so I'm just going to pray and then we'll start. So, Father in heaven, thank you for the opportunity to be able to come and speak and be with my mummies. Like, I've been there, I'm walking through the same stuff. So I'm not saying like I've got it all together and this is everything that you have to, and I'm perfect. I'm saying I'm a human being. Let's do this together. I've done it. I've been there. I am going through it as well. So let's walk this together. There's no point in us doing things by ourselves when you've called us to work in community. You've called us to, no man should be alone. It is wrong. It is bad. It is sad. It is not good for man to be alone. And that didn't just mean man and a woman. It meant mankind. It's not good for us to be by ourselves. When we feel isolated, the enemy can win. It's a lot easier for him to give up the barrage of negativity and all of the things, the thoughts and the feelings that we have. The enemy is a lot easier for him to gain ground when we are by ourselves, Father. So I'm here to say that I'm here and that there are more of us here. There's a group of us here that are intentionally working on overcoming, Father. You know that That's why I'm here to let other mummies know that they don't have to do this by themselves. So I pray that another mum on the other side of this, Lord, will grab her opportunity. She will grab the word, the rhema that is for her in this moment, in this season, Father. Even if she never comes, or she doesn't come, or she's a bit worried or anxious about coming, Father, help her to feel so filled that she gets. I pray that she gets the word that she needs. I pray that she gets the encouragement that she needs. I pray that she gets the confirmation that she needs, Lord, that she needs to jump in, that she needs to do something different, that she needs to make the transformation, and that she's also able to make that transformation, that she's actually trustworthy enough, that she can do the work, and she can pick the right person, she can be in the right communities. Like, Lord, that I trust her, you trust her enough to make the changes that she needs to make as well, Father. Help her to see that she's not doing it by herself, and that you are the one that does the work. Help her to see that you are the one that does the heavy lifting. She must make the decision first and foremost, and then you do the heavy lifting. Help us as mums to not take on all of the heaviness that the world says that we should have, or the world says that we should and could and must and all that, but help us to find what you have called us to do. Help us to align with your word, what you're speaking over us, what you're singing over us, what you've already assigned to us from before we were even born, before we even created, Lord. And those children that annoy us and frustrate us sometimes and bring out some things in us, Father, that you actually called us to them, and you called them to us, that you assigned us together for a specific reason. And so, Father, as I end, I ask that you continue to do your thing, that you show up, that you show off, Lord, that this is your space, this is your time. Do your thing, King of Kings. Amen. All right, so we are discussing the importance of the power of identifying your triggers, right? So our scripture for today is Proverbs 4:23, and we did this on Saturday with our children. Actually, we did children's church, and they all have the signs that they were doing to help them remember it. And it was, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23, and they were all doing it so well. I was so pleased with them, right? And so I'm just going to give you the Tranquil framework. The Tranquil framework is something that it came to me. It came upon me. I've been in the same situation. I've been triggered. I've been frustrated, annoyed, overwhelmed, angry, and I've had outbursts. I've been uncontrolled. I've lacked the self-control and all of these things, right? So I've done the things that I don't want to do. Those things that Paul says, I do that which I don't want to do, and the things I want to do, I don't do. I've been there, and I'm on the journey still. I'm not perfect. I don't always get it right. And so I will come and have my hands up right now, have my hands up and be like, I ain't perfect. But God gave me this framework as I was working through this a lot from like 2019 up until now, and it's the framework that I've been using, and I didn't even know that it was a framework. I was just like, well, it's just something I do. So when people ask me, how do you do it, I was like, oh, this is what I do. But it's what God gave me. It's not something that I created for myself. It's just what happens, right? And so as I was going on my own discovery journey and undoing and redoing and all that kind of stuff, this is what came about. The Tranquil framework. So from triggered to tranquil. How do we get to the tranquil? T is for trigger awareness. That's what we're going to be talking about today. R, rewrite your negative scripts. A, anchor new habits. N, navigate your stressors. Q, quiet your mind. U, unlearn generational patterns. I, implement emotional regulation techniques. And L, lean on God's strength. Part of that leaning on God's strength is the strength that he gives you in numbers as well, with others, in your groups, in your community, right? So that's the Tranquil framework. That's your acronym. And today we're going to be discussing T. I think we'll be discussing T for a while, actually. So we're going to be, so T, your trigger awareness. This was when we speak about recognizing what sets you off, what is the emotional reaction that you have. And this is the first step towards transformation. When you can recognize the thing that aggravates you, that starts you off, that beginning, the match, if you can do that, it's the first step towards your transformation. When you understand your triggers more, you can learn to respond instead of reacting. And I'm very, very big on this. Like, when you are reactive, the thing, once you learn all of this stuff, your reaction becomes the response. But at the moment, we're super high, like we're more volatile. And you can be more volatile in your response, and so that's when you're reactive. But once you understand this stuff better, your natural reaction becomes the actual one that you want, the more godlike one. So it's less reactive and more responsive and more response able. Okay, you become response able. So an example of you can hear the children in the background. Someone might even come in. Who knows? Right. So an example of your trigger might be that you feel instantly irritated, annoyed, frustrated when your child don't listen. And this is a big one because they're not going to listen. At some point, the children ain't going to listen, right? But instead of you snapping, you pause and you ask yourself, like, why am I frustrated? And what is this revealing to me? What is this frustration saying to me? Where is this coming from? Am I actually annoyed with the child? Is there something else? And so for me, when I do that, when I have done that, I was talking about this in my group yesterday. I was giving them a little bit more training on it, a few more prompts on it and stuff like that. But I noticed for myself, if I'm hungry, I get hangry. And so I'm more frustrated. I'm more liable to be frustrated and have a short temper. And so in that moment, I will pause and ask myself, where is this frustration coming from? Okay, I've got a headache. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm thirsty. I'm dehydrated. Or no, this child has been pressing the button for a long time, being intentionally disobedient, like not listening, whatever it is, we're able to pinpoint it. But you have to stop in that moment and ask the question, which is sometimes quite hard as well. But we're going to get to that at a later point. But that's another part of what I teach about a trigger management, in terms of having a toolbox of things where you can go to once you are either activated or before you get activated. You have your tools ready on hand to be able to bring yourself down, talk yourself down, bring yourself down to where you can be responsible again, right? So one of the scriptures that I use when feeling super frustrated and annoyed is Proverbs 4:23, which talks about being diligent with your heart, like watching over your heart, because everything flows from it. And when I was teaching the children about this on Saturday at children's church, I was asking them questions like, so what comes from your heart? And they were like, oh, blood. And we did the whole blood thing. We're learning about the human body and how amazing it is and stuff. But I said, no, like the other heart, what does heart mean spiritually? When we talk about it in the Bible, what does it mean? And they were like, oh yeah, it means your mind. And so why is it important to guard your mind? And they're like, oh, because everything comes from your mind. Where does it come from? Oh, everything starts with thought. And this is the stuff I teach my mummy. So I'm like, if I can teach them early what we are learning late, and they can grasp this stuff, they'll be able to be more regulated themselves. And this is one of the things. If we learn it, we must teach it straight immediately. The things that are of benefit, we teach it to the children. And so if everything starts with a thought, we must guard that avenues real tightly. And so everything that goes in is the thing that is creating our thoughts. Some of these things are subconscious. We can't walk down the street and not hear things. Your body just, your brain just takes it all in. You can't not hear it. If you walk past the shop and it's blaring music or something, you can't not hear it. And so things go in all the time. Some of them are we willingly hear, and other things are just going into the background. And so we must have a filter the things that we intentionally put ourselves in front of are creating our thoughts. The things that we are unintentionally putting our thought of also are creating our thoughts. But if we are putting more intentional about putting the right things in, then those things will filter out and over. There'll just be more of the good things. And so we're not necessarily worried so much about the bad things at that point because we're putting more good things in, right? So it's important for us to be diligent and watch over our hearts, our minds, because out of it flows everything, the issues of life, the springs of life. And so the things that are coming out of our mouth are things that have been put in us. So when you hear your mum come out of your mouth, it's because that's what you had put into you. And so now you have to flip that. You have to flip that. And a lot of our triggers also come from what triggered our mum or what triggered us because of that because of our experiences. So I have 3 points for you, and then we're going to get out of here. What do you do? Point number 1, you identify your top emotional triggers and you track them, right? What are your top 3? Some of us have like 2 or 3, some of us have loads, but what are your top 3? And track them. Why do you track them? Oh, number 2, when do you track them? When do you do this? You start paying attention to everything, right? What are your top emotional triggers? You track these things, and then number 2, you do it immediately. Okay, you start doing it immediately. When do you do it? Now. You start tracking them. You pay attention to how your body feels, how you respond to everything. How does your body feel? Like, does your body tense up at some points? Do you feel hot? Do you feel, sometimes we feel hot, we feel the heat rising, we feel tingly in the ears, heart beating faster. We need to start taking stock, paying attention to all of these signs that we're getting when we're starting to feel triggered. What emotions come up for us? What kind of things rise? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? What is it that triggers? And I say this about negative things because that's what we're mostly talking about. But even so, even the positive ones, it's good to know what you're feeling, because sometimes it can feel, they feel very similar. Excitement and anticipation and anxiety, they feel very similar. They have very similar tick boxes. Like, you feel the thing in your belly, and you might feel a little bit tingled, you feel a bit hot, your heart starts to race, but you get to decide if you're going to feel the anticipation or the anxiety. You get to choose, right? So you might as well flip it from the bad one to the good one, right? Not easy, need to train it. We can do that together. So what do? Identify your top emotional triggers, you track them. You start doing that today, okay? You start doing that today. If you need help with that, I've got a tracker. You could just do it yourself. Write down exactly what you felt, when you felt it, and what happened, what the situation was that happened. I stepped on a Lego, I got angry, and I blew up. I felt like this, my ears felt hot, I felt it hit my chest, I felt it on my foot, obviously, because my foot was hurting. Write all of this stuff down. Why does this matter is your point number 3. Because when you recognize your triggers, it helps you to be able to pause, to be able to assess what happened, and then choose the godly response that you actually want instead of the habit that usually kicks in, right? So recognizing your triggers is the thing that is it's the first step to overcoming, it's the first step to the transformation. Recognizing what the trigger is, how you feel about, like, what the feelings are that are coming up. If you can identify that early, like before, when you're not in the situation, if you can identify that now, then when it's happening, you can catch it. You can catch it and you can stop it. And it's not always perfect. Some days are better than others, but especially when you're first learning, identifying and tracking it is essential, and it's amazing, because then you get to see the amount of times that you feel what you feel, and then Also any similarities, any overlaps that might be, any differences, similarities and different. Sorry, my sign language is all doing all sorts of things right now. But so this is what helps. But the first step is being honest with yourself. You have to become aware. You only become aware of things when something different happens though. And so when you're in a different environment, when you're growing up, everything, that's normal. That's normal for me. And it's normal for a lot of people. I think, like, even for, I speak on behalf of the Black community, our parents shouting at us, it's normal. Like, it's expected. Shouting at you, threatening you, maybe even beating you with something, like it's expected. And so until you step out of that, until you come across another culture who doesn't ever experience that, it's not normal. And so becoming aware, putting yourself in different places, opening up yourself, going into different coming on different lives when you see something, like, and becoming aware of these things really helps. So be honest with yourself. What are your triggers? How do you feel about it? It's important for you to do this. Why? Because recognizing it helps you to be able to stop it in its tracks and give the actual response that you really want. You want to be that God-fearing mum. You want to be that role model that, you know, for your children. You don't want somebody else to model for your children. You want them to be able to come to you with their cares and their concerns. You want to hold their heart in your hands. You want that. Then there's a work that needs to be done. Like, we have to do the work. It's not going to come by magic. We don't believe in magic. It's not going to come by accident. It takes work. And so I encourage you to do these 3 steps. So what do? Identify your top three emotional triggers and track them. You start today. You start right now. You go back and think about what happened to this morning. Start paying attention to what happened. What was the actual situation? How did you feel? What did you do? Yeah, so what was the cause? My child was rude. I exploded. I felt like this. All of that stuff. And it matters for you to do this, because once you can do this honestly, it helps you to have the response that you actually want, because you know what you don't want. You see it happening regularly. You can stop it in its tracks. You can retrain yourself, okay? The same way we're training our children, we too can be trained, and we want to be that model for them. And so we owe it to them. I heard a story about, I think it was Gandhi, and a mum came to him and said to him, can you teach my son, you need to tell my son that he has to drink water. So Gandhi says to her, come back in 2 weeks. She's a bit like, why am I coming back in 2 weeks? But okay, so she comes back in 2 weeks, and then he tells the son, you should drink more water. And the son listens and all that kind of stuff. So then the mum says to him later, why did you say that to me? Why did you tell me that I have to come back in 2 weeks? He said, well, I first must drink more water. I can't teach what I'm not doing myself. And so it's just, it just reminds me that we can teach whatever we want, but the children, they see. And more is caught than taught. So it doesn't matter what we're saying, they will do what they see. And so I'm encouraging you to just do more. And start small. You don't have to do everything, because we don't want overwhelming and we're like, I ain't doing this because it ain't working. No, start very small. So first of all, get your triggers. Figure out what they are. Track them. How do you feel about them? What happened? All that kind of stuff. And then if you need any more help, come back to me. Okay? I want to leave you with one more scripture, Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. There's more to that scripture, and it talks about slavery. Like, remembering that he set us free on purpose. He was intentional. He wants us to be free, and he doesn't want us to go back to slavery. So now that you know something, you should not be looking to go back. We're not like dogs going back to our vomit. We're not doing that. We are going to do something with what we just learned. I'm going to track my triggers, because I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to continue this cycle. I'm not going to continue this pattern. Oh no. Your ability to break the cycles, to break the patterns, is not in you. It's not your willpower. You submit to God, and he is the one that does the rest. He gives you the power. It's his power in you. So you don't have to figure it out, and you don't have to figure it all out at once. It's a journey. And God is already working in you. So, as I said, I was talking about this in my group a little bit more yesterday. They have a few more prompts and stuff like that, you know, asking a bit more questions. And so if you want to be involved in all of this and overcoming your triggers, then jump in the group, mummies. This is for mummies, not for daddies. I'm sorry. Maybe later on there'll be one for daddies, but this is for Christian mummies. So if you are interested in overcoming your triggers, we're working on trigger awareness. So if you're interested in doing that, jump into the Motherhood Mantle prayer circle. We are also praying Tuesday coming, which is tomorrow. We'll be praying tomorrow, the 8th of April, for our children, specifically for our children and our community that are helping, our village that's helping us to raise the children as well. And so join us if you are interested. All those details will be in the group as well, and I will put the link to the group down here somewhere or wherever it will be on your screen. But if you want to be the model for your children, there's just work for you to do. You don't even have to join the group. I'm here. You can hit me up in my DMs. You can watch the videos. And remember, this new Facebook stuff, we don't have long. We've only got 30 days now. So watch this stuff. Watch it. Watch the replay. Ask the questions, because it'll be gone in like 30 days. I don't know if I'm going to be putting this anywhere else. I don't know what's going to be happening. So while you can, utilize this. If there's another mum that you know will benefit from this, tag them in it. Encourage them to come to the group as well. Mummies, get to praying. Like, you have done a lot of different things. You've probably tried the gurus. You've probably tried praying, and you've tried what's the thing? You've tried shouting. You've tried being silent. You've tried the breathing exercises. You tried counting and all this kind of stuff. You tried lots of different things, but have you tried it intentionally? Have you been strategic with your prayers? Has it been ad hoc? You know, have you done it by yourself? Have you done it in a community? There is a power in community. There is power in strategy. There's power in prayer, and there's power in intentionality. And we do all of those things. We cover all of those things in the Motherhood Mantle prayer circle. So just join us in it. It's a lot easier. You don't have to be out there by yourself. I'll speak to you all next week for another Pattern Breakers session, and we're going to be discussing, shall I tell you? Yeah, understanding the root of your triggers. Did I say that? Yes, I did. So join us next week. Join us, yes, all of us. Join us next week for Pattern Breakers. I'm excited actually about next week, so make sure you come. I'll speak to you later. Bye.